Hey guys, welcome back. So in this video, we're going to go ahead and go over AI Publishing Academy. This is the Mickelson twins. This is be kind of like an update from the 2024 review that I did. So this is for 2025. And before we get into all that and all the updates, you're watching this video because you're looking for some form of passive income, and you think, publishing books might be a great idea and way to do that. And it very well could be. And so we'll get into that here in a little bit. But real quick, what I wanted to do was show you what I actually do. So basically, how I make money online is simply by building little local websites like this. This was my first website back in, I think, 2019, like summer 2019. And it took 6 to 8 weeks for me to just apply some basic SEO practices to it. And since then, it's been ranking and generating phone calls. The site's super simple. It's not all that deep. This was built on Weebly. So yeah, as you can see, nothing crazy. I'm not a massive design artist or something like that. But it gets the job done because when it's ranked in number one, people click on it because they trust it. And then they click this phone number, which gets forwarded off to a contractor who actually fulfills the work. It's a great service to society as well, just kind of supporting local businesses. But if you want to learn more about how I actually make money with it, go ahead, visit this link. I'll put it down in the description below. But it pretty much goes over any kind of questions you may have about what it is that I do and how you might be able to do it too. But let's go ahead, jump back into AI Publishing Academy. So this is the Mickelson twins, Christian and Rasmus. They've been in this space now, at least since 2020. So they're about 5 years into it. And their whole business model, they've gone through a couple different names: AI Publishing Academy, Publishing.com, Audiobook Income Academy, a couple different ones. But they're all the same people. They're all essentially the same thing with just a little bit of updates and remarketing, like here and there. And the reason why they've had remarketing, unfortunately, is because people weren't necessarily all that happy. See, let me go ahead and break down the business model for you if you're not all that familiar with it yet. The idea is you self-publish your own books on different platforms, including Amazon, and you basically do research, pick out different niches, spin up articles. Either you write them yourself, or you can have AI do it for you, which is kind of what they're leaning towards now, or you can pay ghostwriters to write you a book as well. Then after you have the book done and complete, the idea is that it only costs you a couple $100, and then that couple $100 investment could return multiple times over through the form of passive income. The issue with that, though, is the market's extremely saturated in a business model like this because people just put a more emphasis on quantity over quality. So a lot of these books that people have, they're not really doing that much justice to the person that's actually like purchasing the book. It's in a way, it's a weird kind of cash grab because the consumer is getting content that was rushed through, not all that thought of, probably largely recycled content. I know that's huge in the self-publishing space, is just recycled content. Somebody goes in, sees what's working, rewrites it, throws their own cover on it, and then they try to sell it. Sometimes they'll even run ads to it to try to squeeze out the other person. It's just a very, very dicey model. The other thing that people get frustrated on that I've seen in the reviews of this program specifically is the actual cost to get that first book published anyway. So not only do you spend about $2,000 on the program itself, plus all the upsells that come along with it down the road, but you're also having to pay quite a bit more than what they lead on in their sales webinar, right? These books for most people are costing more than $1,000 to actually make, and of course, if you can make that $1,000 back through sales, and then profit beyond that, that's awesome. It just doesn't really work out like that a lot of the time. Plus, if you try to game Amazon's system through, say, writing reviews on different students' books, your own books, whatever, if you get caught, you put your whole account at risk, and then you're almost done making money entirely, which does kind of suck. As far as a refund policy goes, they do have one. Now, this 3-day right to recession, that's not necessarily something they're giving you. That's just something that's kind of they're obligated by law to do so. The rest of their actual refunds are stipulated. So you have to, produce and publish a book of at least 25,000 words. Request and utilize this warranty must be used within 365 days. Um, so just you'd have to read through the fine print. But basically, you're not getting a refund after 3 days unless you hit their stipulations. If you go over to Trustpilot, you'll actually see over 2,000 reviews. They do have largely positive reviews. I've got to give them that. And some of these reviews, they don't look all that fake. I kind of know what fake reviews look like at this point in my space with the years I've been in. And I can say that for the most part, these do look legit. The only thing that I would question as like a consumer, somebody that's just doing their due diligence and researching is, were these incentivized in any way? So what I mean by incentivized is where they may be on one of those sales calls and the sales guy asked, to give some kind of review for, positive incentive, maybe a free product. That happens quite a bit, which obviously could skew things, right? Because if somebody's posting and they've just gotten into the program, they haven't seen it through yet in any kind of capacity, but they're writing a review, a good review at that, you can kind of see where like conflict kind of arises in the validity of said review. If you go over to the 1 stars, just to kind of be fair, taking a look at those, you'll see some relatively unhappy people. I would like to say, though, they do actually take time to respond individually. I like this a lot more than, say, other programs, coaches, and gurus who just have a stereotypical like copy and paste response. They're at least trying to take things on a case-by-case basis. Beyond that, it looks like they have a really good response time too, so I've got to give credit where credit's due. And so hopefully they're trying their best to take care of people. I do want to say, though, and I'm sure they would tell you the same thing, this isn't going to be exactly an easy business model, simply because of the saturation and the way that Amazon continues to crack down on things. If you're still wanting to do this program, you're just going to have to know going in what you're kind of up against and if it's going to be worth the investment in the long run. If we go over to the BBB, you do see only these 3 poor reviews. That said, I think what I found the weirdest was when you go to like the details of the business. So it's like, this website leads you to publishing.com's website, but the principal contacts aren't actually Christian or Erasmus, which I think is kind of weird. Not sure why it's like that, but is what it is. They're also not BBB accredited. You're going to kind of notice that for a lot of these online programs, people not being accredited by the BBB. That's just because the way that the industry is, it's, legit may not be the best word choice. Speaking further, they do have Instagram and YouTube. I'll go over YouTube here in a second. Their Instagram following looks fairly legit. I would say the numbers, I'd say definitely back up the fact that this looks like it's organic followers, not fake followers. So good on them there. I know some fake gurus have all sorts of crazy fake followers and numbers. If you go over to Social Blade, you'll actually be able to see that they have a YouTube channel with over 200 uploads, 75,000 subs, and they're still getting a couple, about 2,000 views a month on their channel, so they're not pushing nearly as hard on YouTube. That said, I guess, nearing the end of this video, my final thought on this would be to also check out this Instagram page called Baller Busters. These guys have been featured on it a couple times, or I think there's a channel or series called The Contrepreneur. You guys can look into that a little bit more. I'm kind of just, I'm up in the air on them. I think they want to do good, and I think that they've done less shady tactics per se than I've seen a lot of other gurus do. That said, they do follow like the same kind of cookie cutter, fake guru sort of marketing strategy, which I don't really appreciate personally. That's just my opinion. Um, but yeah, if you guys were curious, that's kind of the review. That's my opinion on it with what I've done and seen throughout the years with these guys. And like I said, if you're interested in kind of that business model I talked about at the beginning, I'll have a link for that down in the description below. If you guys have any questions or were wondering anything additional that I didn't cover in this video, go ahead and drop those comments down below. Always remember, like, share, subscribe. I will see you in the next one.